Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ringside Wrestling Entertainment. This is Joel Perez here with your review for the 5th anniversary edition of Monday Night Raw. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it was Raw 25, and it was a busy Monday Night Raw here tonight because not only was it Raw 25, it was also the go-home show to the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. So this show was jam-packed with things to talk about. Yes, we did see The Undertaker. Yes, we did see Stone Cold Steve Austin. A barrage of huge legends. The $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. The Boogeyman, Eric Bischoff. There were a whole lot of Smackdown Live superstars on the show here tonight. You had Shane McMahon, Daniel Bryan, all the women's wrestlers as well. Tori Wilson, Kelly Kelly, Trish Stratus, who's looking amazing, Lillian Garcia, the Bellas. There was just a whole lot of names on this show here tonight, and yes, it was an exciting edition of Monday Night Raw. On top of that, you had two venues here tonight. You had a Manhattan Center and you had a Barclays Center with JR and Jerry Lawler doing commentary at the Manhattan Center, and I'm going to talk about how they handled that. I'm quite disappointed in the way they handled that, but on top of that, you had the entirety of DX, X-Pac, Shawn Michaels, Triple H. You had Razor Ramon there as well, the New Age Outlaws who were with DX, of course, Road Dogg and Billy Gunn. You had the Balor Club in a segment with those guys. So it was just jam-packed with nostalgia. There was also a decent amount of build towards the Royal Rumble. Clearly, with this show being Raw 25, not enough build towards the Royal Rumble. But there were certainly times where this still felt like a Monday Night Raw that you would watch each and every single week. No doubt about it. There were times where this show dragged on and you just said, my God, I really want to shoot myself in the head right now. But a lot of times you do have to give them credit. It did pick back up. So this was, no doubt about it, a good Monday Night Raw. There's no way this wasn't going to be an exciting edition of Monday Night Raw. Was it the best Raw of all time? Was it the biggest Raw of all time? By no means was it either of those things. It was more of a nostalgia fest more than anything, but that is besides the point because there were still things that angered me here on Monday Night Raw. For example, the fact that Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy not only were in a matchup that had absolutely no build, there was no announcement, but on top of that, Bray Wyatt beat Matt Hardy in an uneventful, ridiculous matchup. It really, really was that. On top of that, you needed to have the Revival come out here tonight, and they were given the jobber treatment, they were given the squash treatment, and they were given the treatment that the Ascension was given a couple years back, whenever the hell it was, and they were taken out by everybody in the DX and Razor Ramon as well. So that was absolutely ridiculous right there, and there were things that angered me on this show, but for the most part it was a very exciting edition of Monday Night Raw here tonight, and that all started off with the opening segment of Stone Cold, bringing us all back to the Attitude Era, middle fingers and everything flying on Monday Night Raw here tonight. But that is besides the point because we are going to go into that. But before we do, like always, I just want to tell you guys to make sure to go check out all the other content on the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel. And I say that because there is so much other content for you to go check out. Raw and Smackdown reviews each and every single week. You're seeing this Raw review here this week. You could have went back and seen the one for last week, and as well as you're going to see the one for next week, and actually tomorrow we're going to be reviewing Smackdown Live as well, and also the events of the Mixed Match Challenge we're going to be covering in that very Smackdown Live review. So you can be expecting all that, as well as Behind the Mic coming this Saturday, and this is a particularly big week for the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel. Why? Because it is the Royal Rumble week. And what does that mean? That means we're going to have the Royal Rumble preview and predictions. We're going to be trying to predict everything going on the Royal Rumble. And not only that, we're going to be giving you a preview. If you haven't been consistent and up to date watching all your Raws and Smackdowns leading up to the Royal Rumble, that's fine. We're going to go over the build to the Royal Rumble. Has it been a good build? I wouldn't say so. But we're going to be talking about all that on the Royal Rumble preview and predictions. As well, on Friday, the Royal Rumble preview and predictions is coming out on Thursday. On Friday, you can expect your NXT TakeOver Philadelphia. And that is, of course, coming on Friday. We're going to be doing the same thing that we're doing for the Royal Rumble for that show. And, of course, coming this very Saturday, you got Behind the Mic, where we cover all the biggest news in the WWE. And on top of Behind the Mic, that upcoming Saturday in the nighttime, we're having NXT TakeOver Philadelphia review and results after that show goes off the air. And then, of course, Sunday, the big main event, you got your Royal Rumble review. So if there is ever a time to subscribe to the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel, you already know it. This is the perfect time to subscribe because, of course, all this content, all this WWE news and rumors coming out, we're going to be talking about it all this week right here on the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel. So if you want everything regarding the WWE, you just stay tuned to the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel. You subscribe. That is the best way to stay tuned. And, of course, you like. And, of course, you comment, because your opinion is just as important as mine. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go straight into the Monday Night Raw review. And, of course, Monday Night Raw started off here tonight with Shane McMahon and Stephanie McMahon. Yes, I was quite mind-boggled about the fact that this show was starting off with SmackDown's general manager, even though it is Raw 25, and there were numerous SmackDown superstars on this show here tonight, but we will talk about that. The show did start off with Shane McMahon and Stephanie McMahon, and that led to something that is going to make us all smile very much. I'm going to play the segment here for you guys, like we've been doing on these reviews right now. Hopefully we don't get an ad. And we don't.
We have a surprise for you. We got you a little something. Okay, now, this isn't just from Shane and I.
And this is
just from everybody
Vince McMahon out here receiving a present from Stephanie
Center.
McMahon and Shane McMahon.
This from people all over the world, because Shane and I started a GoFundMe account to have this for you.
And I'm going to pause the video right there. Really? That just boggled my mind while I was watching this show. Shane McMahon and Stephanie McMahon had to start a GoFundMe? A GoFundMe to get Vince McMahon a present. Are you kidding me? Do you know the amount of money that Shane McMahon and Stephanie McMahon must have? How am I supposed to believe, the viewer, that they started a GoFundMe in order to be able to buy this? It is absolutely ridiculous right there. Ridiculous scripting, even now. But that is just something I needed to point out, because that just took me out of this segment right away. But let's continue on here.
Dad, we present you with this commemorative plaque for 25 years of Monday Night Raw. It's mahogany.
It's a plaque.
It's a
plaque?
plaque.
So let me get this straight.
Commemorative. Says your name.
Here, hang on, hold it. It feels a little cheap. It feels cheap, but then again, we are here in Brooklyn.
So, of course, Vince is going Mr. McMahon here tonight.
Give me a plaque after all I've done for you for 25 years, and you give me, wow, you give me a plaque. Everybody's out here thanking everybody. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. The only person in the world I need to thank is me, because I did it all. I did it all by myself. I didn't need any of you. I didn't need my family members. I didn't need anyone but me. No one. There's not one person in the world that's ever helped me. Not one.
And there it is. The glass shatters. Out comes Stone Cold.
And a lot of things have changed. You look great. But obviously Mother Nature has not been too kind to me. I'm trying to say is, Steve, times have changed. I'm now a
Yes,
senior
times
citizen.
have changed.
But I'm a senior citizen, but Shane's at his prime.
So he throws Shane under the bus.
Shane's in his prime. God, he looks so good. Look at him. My God, he flies off of one side of the ring to the other, comes way down. Yeah, Shane's in his prime.
So they shake hands, and of course, Stone Cold being Stone Cold raises his hand first. And then gives him that good old-fashioned stunner. Now I don't know how many times Stone Cold music stopped and started playing in the segment, but it was hilarious. So they drank a beer together, did Vince and Stone Cold, but the beer kept getting on Vince's suit. Vince is clearly annoyed. They hug.
That was nice. Mending fences. After all this time, Stone Cold Steve Austin for 25 years too cold. And Mr. McMahon, hug it out.
And you think it's over once again. They hug again.
Awesome to finally see this happen. Everything these two men have been
But
through
Vince
together.
makes the mistake of turning his back. So they toast one more time and the middle finger, and there you go, stunner. Stunner to Vince McMahon. Stunner, which by the way, Vince sold terribly, but doesn't really matter.
I was going to say, but the more things change, the more they stay the same.
So there you go with that. That was a fantastic way to start Monday Night Raw. I enjoyed the hell out of that segment. I'm sure everybody else did as well. That was an amazing way to start off Raw 25. And how do you follow up on that? You start off by reliving the Attitude Era. You have Vince McMahon and Stone Cold in the middle of the ring one more time. Stone Cold drinking beers. And by the way, it was just absolutely hilarious how Stone Cold really lost his beer catching game, bro. I don't know how many times he dropped the beer or he goddamn did not catch it correctly. It was absolutely ridiculous, but at the same time hilarious. That's what made me laugh the most. But, I mean, that was a fantastic way to start off the show. But how do you follow up on that? So many ways you can do it. So many ways you can do it. Oh, yeah! I have a great one. An 8-woman tag. Everybody would love to see that one, right? No, not me. Not me, but of course that's what they give us. We get Asuka, Sasha Banks, Mickie James, and Bayley versus Mandy Rose, Sonya Deville, Nia Jax, and Alicia Fox. My God, are you kidding me with that one, bro? You go from one of the best segments we've had, probably the best segment we've had on Raw all year, maybe disregarding what we saw last week with Braun Strowman. And, I mean, this is probably going to be one of the best segments of Raw all year when it comes to the end of the year, and 2018 just started. And you mean to tell me that you follow that up with this? It is absolutely ridiculous. Nobody gave a crap about this 8-woman tag at all, bro. Asuka got the win, or Sasha Banks, she got the win. She locked in this bank statement on Alicia Fox. Alicia Fox was tapping out, and at the end of the matchup, Asuka took all her teammates and tossed them out of the ring, clearly signifying that she wants to win the Royal Rumble. And that kind of scares me, and it should scare you too, because remember this, the person who walks out of the go-home show looking strongest usually doesn't win on the pay-per-view. Remember that this is a go-home show. So that scares me right there. But realistically, am I supposed to care about this 8-woman tag whatsoever? No. Hell no. Anyways, we go from that to a segment where Raw General Manager Kurt Angle is backstage with the referee, telling the referee that he needs to avoid chaos with Kane, Braun Strowman, and Brock Lesnar, who are going to be in the same ring tonight. That was the main event. And John Coachman, back on Raw, former Raw General Manager, of course, he walks in. A bunch of other people start walking in. Harvey Wimpleman, the Brooklyn Brawler, walks in. Teddy Long walks in. Everybody starts dancing to his theme music. Bruce Pritchard is in as Brother Love. Red as ever is Mr. Bruce Pritchard. And the Boogeyman walks in next, creeping everyone out with a bunch of worms. And I never knew, at least I guess I never paid attention or thought of this, but the person I was watching Raw with tonight, they were like, are those real worms? And I'm like, what, are they? And they are real worms. I don't know how the hell the Boogeyman does that. That would creep me the hell out, but goddamn. So they're just going based off nostalgia with that backstage segment from that point. And at this point, we're already at the 8:40 hour, and we're finally at this point going to the Manhattan Center. We finally, at the 8:40 hour, got to the Manhattan Center. And that's something that really bugged me out about this show, bro. It really, really did. 8:40 it took to get to the Manhattan Center. We should have been at the Manhattan Center tonight a lot longer, bro. I mean, the people in attendance, there were videos coming out because it was like 40, 50 minutes that we would not go to the Manhattan Center. Most of this show took place at the Barclays. If you paid to go to the Manhattan Center and watch this show from there, I feel like you got ripped off. You really did. And realistically, I wish this whole show would have just emanated from the Manhattan Center. It would have been so much better from there. Every time we went there, I got that nostalgic feel. I loved the old school set for Monday Night Raw. It was exactly the same as the set for the very first Monday Night Raw. Everything was exactly the same. Only thing they had different was that they had an LED monitor in the front, because clearly when the show was at the Barclays Center, the people at the Manhattan Center needed to watch, and they were watching from that monitor the entire time, to the point where there were videos coming out on Twitter all night, people chanting, "We want a refund." Bullshit. And even pictures coming out of both Jerry Lawler and Jim Ross goddamn sleeping in the commentary booth. Ridiculous. Really, really ridiculous, if you ask me. There should have been more going on at the Manhattan Center, and I know there were portions of the show where you were given exclusives to the Manhattan Center. Yes, I was watching on Twitter. Jeff Hardy appeared at the Manhattan Center with Matt Hardy after their match was over. You had two cruiserweight matches there, which sounds absolutely terrible. So they weren't completely left without any content, and then you were watching Monday Night Raw, so they weren't completely left without content, and they did get to see The Undertaker there. They did get to see D-Generation X, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Matt Hardy, and Bray Wyatt. I get that, but they should have been at the Manhattan Center for longer. Longest point we were at the Manhattan Center was in that last segment where we were with D-Generation X and where we were with Razor Ramon and the Revival and the Balor Club. That segment went like 20 minutes. That was the longest that they went at the Manhattan Center. Undertaker literally came out in this segment and cut a 2-minute promo, which I will play for you very shortly. It was absolutely ridiculous. I do not know if it was signifying anything what Undertaker said, but you will hear the promo if you did not watch the show for the first time, and I will relive and try to interpret whatever this promo is saying. I don't know. I don't know what the hell this is supposed to mean. It wasn't a goodbye, if you ask me. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. We were all saying, if The Undertaker's going to be on this show, I'm sure Undertaker cannot be here just to show up and say hi. I feel like he just showed up and said hi. That's really what I feel The Undertaker did here tonight. It was absolutely ridiculous on that regard, but I really do feel that they should have been at the Manhattan Center for longer. There were rumors saying that they were going to be at the Manhattan Center for about an hour. They were there, I feel, for 30 minutes at best, maybe 35. That's how long they were at the Manhattan Center for a 3-hour Monday Night Raw. Where the commercials, by the way, were super duper long. At least they felt that way, if you ask me. But I'm going to try to pull up the Undertaker clip, and we will be right back here on the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel.
The carnage began on this sacred ground of evil 25 years ago. I've taken legends and ripped them off their pedestals and thrown them in the cold, dark earth. Stone Cold answered to the Reaper. Mick Foley answered to the Reaper. Even my own flesh and blood, Kane, had to answer to the Reaper. They all tried. They all failed. And now, on this sacred ground, I declare for all of those who have fallen, it is truly time you rest in peace.
And there you have it. There you have it. That was the promo that we seen from The Undertaker here tonight. Literally, what I felt I heard from that promo was nothing. He showed up and said hi. He showed up and said hi for nostalgia purposes because he was on the first ever edition of Monday Night Raw. There was The Undertaker, and they set up nothing. I don't see how they set up anything for WrestleMania. I was thinking, alright, maybe he showed up, said his piece at the Manhattan Center. Maybe he'll appear during the John Cena segment later in the night. Nope. None of that. None of that. The Undertaker came in, his music hit, he did the nostalgic entrance, and he left. He was not wearing the hat. He was not wearing the jacket. And he was not wearing the gloves. Notably, he was just wearing the old school, I don't even know what you would call it, the hoodie. He was wearing the hoodie, whatchamacallit. It was like the big jacket with the hoodie on it. So he was wearing that. So he was not wearing any of that. But The Undertaker, what they said is true. The Undertaker looks great. The Undertaker looks great. You see, he grew his hair out long now. And, I mean, he looks fantastic. He looks like he can go for another match. Does that mean he can go for another match? I'm not sure. From the looks of it, it looks like he can. It looks like he can, but does that mean he can? Does that mean we're going to get a matchup like what we've seen 10 years ago at this point against Shawn Michaels? No, not at all. Not at all. The Undertaker, really, he is retired in my eyes, and he should stay retired. He did not say anything, I feel, on that subject. Like, that's what we were all waiting for him to address. Is he retired or not? None of that was addressed. And it could have been addressed by him saying, I'm not done yet. Nope, none of that. So, I don't know what we were supposed to see here. Didn't even enter himself into the Royal Rumble, which I know some people were against him doing that. Didn't do that. So, I don't know what this was supposed to signify. For me, it led to nothing. It did not lead to a WrestleMania match. Did not lead to a Royal Rumble entry. He did not answer the question we all wanted to hear. So, I don't know. Maybe somebody can find some hidden code within those words. But as of me, right now, right here on the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel, I got nothing. And that's all I saw in this promo. So for now, we move on here. And there was we came back from a break. And the APA, that means JBL and Ron Simmons, they were playing cards with Heath Slater and Rhino, old school, with the APA door and everything. WWE Hall of Famer Ted DiBiase walks in, and no, it's not the junior, it's the senior, it's the $1 Million Man, and he walked in with the $1 Million Championship. He had, he throws a wad of cash on the table, asking what their price is. The $1 Million Man takes a seat, he laughs. A great laugh. My God, I love Ted DiBiase's laugh. Did it perfectly, even to this day. And we went to the next segment. It was JoJo who introduced some of the Raw general managers from over the years. John Laurinaitis, general manager William Regal. I pop for William Regal, even though we see him on NXT about every week. And Eric Bischoff, which clearly got a huge pop. Everybody loves Eric Bischoff. She also introduced Smackdown general manager Daniel Bryan, who joins her there on stage. And interestingly, The Miz made his entrance right after Daniel Bryan came out. So there's Daniel Bryan. So there's still heat there. Could still happen if Daniel Bryan ever gets back in the ring. You can wish upon a star, bro. You can wish upon a star. But that took us to The Miz versus Roman Reigns. I mean, what was I expecting from this matchup? I was hoping for Roman Reigns to lose the Intercontinental Championship. And what happened? Roman Reigns lost the Intercontinental Championship. Thank the Lord. Now, believe me, I am not happy. I am not happy about this title going to The Miz. But it is way better on The Miz's hands than it is in the hands of Roman Reigns. I mean, what is Roman Reigns realistically going to do with the Intercontinental Championship? He's going to take it into WrestleMania, and it's going to be Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns, not only with the Universal title on the line, but with the Intercontinental Championship title on the line. And that sounds absolutely god-awful, if you ask me, and I think you can agree with me in that statement. So, I mean, I'm glad The Miz won it. Solely for the fact that he took it off the title. He took the title off the hands of Reigns. But realistically, what is The Miz gonna do with the Intercontinental title? I don't see him doing anything. I don't see him doing anything with it, realistically. Miz won this match by in an earlier point in the match where Roman Reigns was chasing down Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas. Roman Reigns, he went after them. The referee was distracted in that segment as well. So Miz, he conveniently he took out the second turnbuckle, and that left the exposed steel there. So Roman Reigns, he went for a spear, went into the exposed steel, and that allowed Miz to hit a second skull-crushing finale in this matchup because, of course, Roman Reigns had to look strong and kick out of one. And there you go with that one. The Miz is your new Intercontinental title for the 8th time at this point. How many goddamn times has the Miz won the Intercontinental title in the past 2 years alone? My lord. It is ridiculous, but the Miz is your Intercontinental title champion. And I'm just glad it is off of Roman Reigns. Still, should it have gone to Roman Reigns? No. It should have gone to a Finn Balor back when it was on The Miz, but it was on Roman Reigns. Should it have gone on to The Miz? No. It should have gone on to Samoa Joe when he was healthy. None of that happened, and we're in the predicament that we are now. What is Miz going to do with the Intercontinental title? What is the Intercontinental title going to do for The Miz that The Miz hasn't done for the Intercontinental title, and that the Intercontinental title has not already done for The Miz? Both sides have done everything for each other, and we're just here watching the same old garbage. I don't understand it. I really, really don't. But we move on here. We see MVP, the Hardys, and Smackdown Tag Team Champions, the Usos, join the game of cards in the back. And goddamn, I did not know that was MVP until I saw it on Twitter. And somebody was like, I'm just kind of pissed off that nobody else, or not a lot of people, recognize MVP. I did not recognize him. I was trying to put my eye on who that was. I'm like, who the hell is that, bro? I know him. And I was just looking at him because he looks completely different, does MVP. But MVP was part of that group playing cards, and I'm glad he was on Monday Night Raw. Not bad for the guy. I'd love to see him step back in the ring. He was in there with all these old legends. No, MVP can be in there with an AJ Styles on SmackDown Live and a Kevin Owens and a Sami Zayn on SmackDown Live. What the hell is he doing in the back with all this nostalgia of the legends? No, he can be in that ring. I'm sure he can. MVP, if he was in a good enough relationship with the company to be backstage at Raw 25, why the hell couldn't he be in the ring on SmackDown Live each and every single week? I'm sure you could work out a deal there. It wouldn't be too bad. Anyways, Christian was in the ring for a special edition of the Peep Show. I don't know why they did the Peep Show and not the highlight reel, but they did do the Peep Show here tonight. He talks about how he knows something on tag teams, as he is a 9-time tag team champion. Good for him. He introduces Raw tag team champion Seth Rollins and Jason Jordan as his guests. And this segment, I mean, what do I gotta say? It was Jason Jordan, more of him being annoying, because of course Jason Jordan, it's like his shtick to be annoying, so you really can't get mad at it. You really can't get heated because of that, because it's kind of what they're trying to do. But Rollins starts talking, but Jason Jordan cuts him off as the fans boo, and the heat was real in New York for Jason Jordan. They did not like him, bro. They did not. And he goes off and tries to give it up for his dad, Kurt Angle. The boos continue until his music hits, and out come the Bar, Sheamus and Cesaro. The Bar talks to Jordan on their way to the ring and say it's not his dad who sucks, it's Jordan who sucks. They get the "You Suck" chant going, and it was "You Suck" at Jordan instead of Angle for a nice twist. Jordan, he started attacking the Bar, and Rollins huffed him out with a dive onto Sheamus on the floor. Jordan held Cesaro while Rollins, he was trying to hit the springboard knee, but Cesaro moved out of the way, and Rollins hit Jordan. The Bar leaves up the ramp as their music hits. So I thought that with the two wins that Titus O'Neil and Apollo Crews got over the Bar over the past 2 weeks, that was going to result in them being added to this tag team title matchup at the Royal Rumble. The Revival as well. They were on a hot streak of wins, I believe. And they were not added, or should I say, not the Revival, the Club, Gallows and Anderson. They were not added to this either, even though they were in the mix last week. So, what changed between now and then? That it seemed that you were going to put these guys in there, and now seemingly no. That's not going to be the case anymore. I don't understand it, but I mean, nothing has consistency at all on Monday Night Raw anymore. One week, Apollo Crews and Titus O'Neil are beating the number one contenders for the tag team titles. The next week, that is completely forgotten. Wins and losses really do mean nothing on WWE television nowadays. Should they mean something? Of course they do. Do they mean anything? No. Yet, here's WWE trying to keep Asuka's undefeated streak intact. Now, don't get me wrong, they should, but realistically, this undefeated streak means less on Monday Night Raw or SmackDown because nothing matters. Nothing matters. Charlie Caruso is backstage with Raw Women's Champion Alexa Bliss. Charlie Caruso continues to be a complete robot, but Charlie brings up the Royal Rumble and asks Bliss if she thinks she will be champion after WrestleMania 34. Bliss acts insulted and says she's not only a champion, she's a goddess. SmackDown Women's Champion Charlotte Flair comes up and says Bliss is only champion because Flair is on the other brand. Charlotte says she doesn't think Bliss will keep the title at WrestleMania. Flair goes on to taunt Bliss until her father, WWE Hall of Famer Ric Flair, whoa! I did that woo completely terrible, but that is besides the point. He appears. The Nature Boy gives Bliss props, but says his daughter will be champion until she decides to hang her rope up. My God. So he says, whoa! And the Flairs do a double whoa to end the segment. It's getting better. Can't argue that, but we go back to commercial break. Something there was a whole lot of on the show here tonight. And we see Natalya and Titus Worldwide have joined the card game in the back. Yes, I'm so excited about that. Anyways, it's Matt Hardy versus Bray Wyatt, and this is at the Manhattan Center. And at this point, we're like almost at the 10 o'clock hour. And this match didn't even go too long. We got an amazing ovation for Matt Hardy at the Manhattan Center. I love the smaller venues, but of course we didn't get too much of that tonight because WWE's WWE. So Matt Hardy, what happens to him? He's so over in the Manhattan Center. He's so over with the WWE Universe, he loses. He loses to Bray Wyatt, and that absolutely scares me. That terrifies me because Matt Hardy, despite being rejuvenated with this Woken gimmick, I feel is going to still be that jobber. He's in his first real match with Bray Wyatt of all people, and who do you decide to give the win to? Somebody who you do not give any value to. Bray Wyatt. You don't give Bray Wyatt any value, but when it comes to Matt Hardy versus Bray Wyatt, yeah, you ain't giving Matt Hardy the rub. That is absolutely ridiculous, and that pissed me the hell off. It really, really did. And we will continue to go on that rant on another date, but since this is such a jam-packed show, let's continue here, and we go to the stage where JoJo introduces some of the greatest female superstars from the past. Out comes the Bella Twins, who are the Bella Twins. I don't even know what to say about that. Maurice, who is pregnant, and she's got a belly. She's got a big belly. Kelly, who, I don't know, but Kelly looked terrible here tonight. She did not hold up compared to how she was looking a couple years back. You had Lillian Garcia, who is the complete opposite. Lillian Garcia looks absolutely amazing. She's in her 50s. She's in her early 50s. She looks like she is in her early 30s, bro. She does not look a day over 30. My God, Lillian Garcia looks absolutely fantastic. But WWE Hall of Famer Jacqueline appears as well. Tori Wilson appears, looking fantastic as Tori Wilson. Michelle McCool, wife of The Undertaker. Haven't seen her in the ring since 2011. So there's that. Terry Runnels appears, clearly former manager of Goldust. Maria Kanellis, who was highlighted here for some reason, even though, or she is pregnant as well. She's in the same boat as Maurice. And then you have WWE Hall of Famer Trish Stratus, who is looking absolutely fantastic and has gone back to blonde. Has Trish Stratus, amazingly enough. Maybe we can see her back in the ring in the Women's Royal Rumble. I would not mind that for a second. Trish Stratus looking amazing as well. But back from the break, Elias walks up, and Chris Jericho is backstage. Jericho wearing an Alpha Club t-shirt on Monday Night Raw, by the way. Ooh, notice that one. Anyways, Jericho comments on the scarves around Elias' neck, and he says he wrote a song about him. Jericho asks to borrow Elias' guitar, but Elias says no, and Jericho says that's okay because he has his own guitar, so why'd he ask Elias for the guitar? But he calls Elias a stupid idiot. Jericho pulls out the list and starts saying that he doesn't want to walk with Elias in his song, but then changes his mind. He says he's not going to add Elias to the list, but changes his mind, and he says, Elias, you just made the list! And there you go with that one. So Jericho puts Elias on the list, and that's all we've seen of Jericho. Now, Chris Jericho, that's all we might have seen of him tonight on Monday Night Raw, but he still got his arrangements with New Japan. He had that great match at Wrestle Kingdom 12, 4.5-star match, no doubt about it. I wouldn't say it was a 5-star match, but no doubt 4.5-star match with Kenny Omega at Wrestle Kingdom 12, and he's going into a matchup with Naito in the very near future, so watch out for that. We go to the ring, and JoJo introduces Elias, who has a spotlight and a guitar, and I do believe that I am going to play this segment for you guys right here on the review. So let me just pull that up, and we will be right back. And actually, as I look for the segment on WWE's YouTube page, they do not have it there. So we're just going to read what happened in this segment. Elias has a song he wants the WWE Legends to sing, but the fans keep interrupting. Elias points out Jimmy Fallon in the crowd and says he will show Fallon how it's done. They chant stupid idiot at Elias. Elias finally starts performing his new song, and it takes shots at everyone from The Rock to The Undertaker to John Cena and many others. Elias keeps on until the music interrupts, and out comes John Cena. Cena defends Brooklyn before a loud asshole chant starts, and this article says it's at Elias, but no, it was actually because they had a beach ball, and Elias said that Brooklyn has no balls, and John Cena came out and he says, well, Brooklyn does have balls, and then the camera pans to the security guards taking away a beach ball from the people in Brooklyn. So there's that. There was that, and that was absolutely hilarious to me. That was pretty cool right there. But the beach ball, whatchamacallit? What could you call it? The beach ball coincidences keep on happening on WWE television. That was a big argument during SummerSlam weekend. The beach ball that was at the SummerSlam, or the Raw after SummerSlam and SummerSlam. So that was a big controversy. Controversy continues here tonight on Raw 25. But they came here. Elias tells Cena to shut his damn mouth because no one wants to hear him. They came here to see Elias, but Cena ruined it. Cena mocks Elias and tells him to do something about it. Throwing the mic down and taking his shirt off, Cena stands with his arms out. Elias says that's not how it works, John. Elias doesn't take orders from Cena or the scumbags of Brooklyn. Fans boo Elias some more. Elias goes to leave the ring, but he stoops and turns to Cena. Cena ducks and nails a pair of shoulder tackles. Cena hits the big side slam and a 5-knuckle shuffle. Elias blocks the attitude adjustment, hits a low blow on Cena, and he brings the brutal guitar shot over Cena's head, and Elias stands tall. So it seems like Samoa Joe's place and Samoa Joe's feud with John Cena, or his little mini feud with John Cena, going into the Royal Rumble, has now been replaced by Elias. And Elias is going to get that rub, or might I say lack thereof, from John Cena. So I don't know what's going to happen there, but we see the New Day They have joined the APA card game backstage. It ends with a damn by WWE Hall of Famers Ron Simmons as the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase wins the game of poker, because of course he does. Back from the break, Mark Henry approaches WWE Hall of Famer The Godfather backstage. Godfather introduces a woman with him, Olivia. Godfather talks about how Henry used to be known as Sexual Chocolate. Henry admits this is true, but says we all grew up. Henry ends up making a quick pass at Olivia, but Godfather reveals that this is his wife. Godfather says it's all good and walks off with Olivia all smiles. So it seems like the story of the Godfather has finally been wrapped up on Monday Night Raw. He is no longer riding the hoe train. He is now married. So that is quite heartwarming, but at the same time a little bit depressing. The hoe train is now the no-mo train. I had to. I am sorry. I'm sorry. But Titus O'Neil and Apollo Crews versus Rhino and Heath Slater. Do I even need to go over this? Actually, this was interrupted by the Dudley Boys to a huge pop, and thank God it was, because why was this on Monday Night Raw if it wasn't for that? But they hit the ring. Titus Worldwide, they left the ring, as do Rhino and Slater, but Rhino and Titus Worldwide, they urge Heath Slater to get in the ring and toughen up, right? The Dudley Boys challenge them to come in and get some. Fans chant ECW as Bubba Ray and D-Von stand tall, and they chant for tables. They all roll Slater into the ring, and he yells at them. Bubba scoops Slater and slams him. D-Von goes to the top for the big diving headbutt. Waza! And then, of course, you get 3D through the table. So there you go with that one. Nice nostalgia. I was actually at the Monday Night Raw where the Dudley Boys had their final match on Monday Night Raw. So that was quite touching to see them right here on Raw 25. But we went backstage to Charlie Caruso, where she sounded like an absolute android. She was like, wow, what a performance by the Dudley Boys. That's literally how she sounded in this segment. But AJ Styles, of all people, was on SmackDown Live. The WWE Champion, the SmackDown Champion, was on Raw. The man who built the house of SmackDown Live, right? Or the house that AJ Styles built, referring to SmackDown. But he's on Raw. Yeah. She asked him about the handicap match at the Royal Rumble, and he cuts her off, apologizing. Fans chant AJ's name in the arena. AJ introduces a special guest he's brought for the interview. Caruso is dismissed, and thank God AJ brings in WWE Hall of Famer Mean Gene Okerlund. Styles does a quick Hulk Hogan impersonation and talks about how he will beat Cammy at the Royal Rumble. Again, it was the same cringeworthy promo that AJ Styles cut back on SmackDown Live just 1 week ago, but it was nice to see Mean Gene Okerlund on Raw 25. Back from the break, we are finally back at the goddamn, Manhattan Center. It was a while. You heard the amount of segments I called. Those were all at the Barclays Center. But we finally came back to the Manhattan Center. JR and Jerry the King Lawler woke up from their nap, thank God. But DX, they do a bit of comedy before Triple H thanks the fans for backing them over the years. He gives a shout out to legends. He mentions China. He mentions China on Monday Night Raw. Good for Triple H. And, of course, Rick Rude. And good for China. WWE needs to get over that. It's unfortunate that it took her being dead for them to finally get over the beef and they calmed that static. But, I mean, it was absolutely heartwarming to hear China's name said on Raw tonight. But Triple H says the Manhattan Center is home for Raw, and DX is here to declare that they will be at the forefront of Raw for the next 25 years. So let's start that right now. He does the "Are you ready?" chant and says they didn't come alone. Out comes the New Age Outlaws, Billy Gunn and Road Dogg, and he tells them to cut the damn music. they do their usual intro before introducing Sean X-Pac Waltman, the 1-2-3 Kid. Waltman hits the ring and he hugs his fellow degenerates, calling on the chant for the 1-2-3 Kid. He thanks them. He knows this is a DX reunion, but he can't have a 25th anniversary celebration without this guy right here, Razor Ramon. Razor Ramon and the 1-2-3 Kid had a match on the first ever Monday Night Raw, if you do not recall that. So, we go to commercial as Hall heads to the ring, and back from the break, Hall is in the ring with his "Hey Yo" line. He says, you know, you can't have a party on Raw without the bad guy. He says he's been watching from both locations tonight, and this Raw 25 thing is just too sweet. And of course, the current beholders of the Too Sweet, besides the Bullet Club in New Japan, the Balor Club. So the music interrupts. The Balor Club faces off with DX in the middle of the ring, and they all do the Too Sweet chant. They all meet in the air and touch Too Sweets with each other. Gunn goes to do "If You're Not Down With That," but of course the music of the Revival interrupts. It is Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder, and of course WWE had to pull the bullshit card, and the Revival was goddamn squashed here tonight. Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, from jobbers 3 weeks ago to now being able to beat the Revival in 2 minutes. Absolutely ridiculous. Magic Killer out of nowhere. Easy win for Gallows and Anderson. That was bullshit. And then of course DX, they hit their finishers. Pedigree, super kick, Billy Gunn did the famouser, Road Dogg did a bunch of punches, X-Pac, he did a goddamn, what did he goddamn do? A face buster. It was ridiculous, it really was. They squashed the Revival. It is absolutely ridiculous. They gave the Revival the goddamn Ascension treatment, and it was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. There's no defending that. It was garbage. It really was. And they really shouldn't have done that, but of course they had to, right? They just couldn't help themselves. But back from the break, Raw General Manager Kurt Angle is in the ring to plug the WWE Universal title match at the Royal Rumble. The legends and superstars surrounded the ring. Angle introduces Braun Strowman, then Kane. Some of the superstars are in the ring to keep Braun and Kane separated. Paul Heyman finally comes out to a big pop. Heyman says his client isn't here for a nostalgia trip. He's here for a fight. Heyman talks about how relevant his client is and introduces him. Out comes the Universal Champion Brock Lesnar, and it's an immediate fight. Braun meets Lesnar at ringside, but Lesnar runs right over him. Lesnar enters the ring and hits Kane with the F5. Braun ends up launching Lesnar into the barrier at ringside. Kane is down on the floor, and Braun clears the announce table, power slams Brock through it with the running power slam, and Braun yells out and stands over Lesnar, and his music hits. Braun returns to the ring and stands tall as Raw goes off the air. So there you go with that one, ladies and gentlemen. That was how the show closed. Braun Strowman standing tall. And you know what that means. Again, they stand tall at the go-home show. That means they're probably not going to be standing tall at the pay-per-view. And that's clearly going to be the thing that happens at the Royal Rumble. Because you know Brock Lesnar isn't losing that Universal title. Braun Strowman stood tall here tonight. He took out Brock Lesnar here tonight. He looked dominant over Lesnar. And that was clearly to retain the momentum that he will partially lose after not winning that Universal title at the Royal Rumble. So clearly a little bit of 50-50 right there. But Raw 25, I mean, it was an exciting show compared to what we usually see on Monday Night Raw. It was a super exhilarating show compared to what we usually see. But again, there's stuff on this show that you can't help but say, my God. Woken Matt Hardy being treated like the same jobber he was before he was Woken Matt Hardy. The Revival being squashed here tonight. How are they going to recover from this? My God, WWE with their garbage, bro. And The Undertaker cutting a 2-minute promo that literally meant nothing when we were all speculating what this was going to mean. It meant nothing. So there were things I did like, a lot of things I did like, that made me feel nostalgic, that made me tingle inside, and a lot of things I didn't. But you know what is going to make you tingle inside? all the content on the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel. So make sure to go check out all the content, because there is so much other content to go check out. Raw reviews, Smackdown reviews, pay-per-view reviews, behind the mic each and every single weekend. All this good stuff. Preview and predictions for the Royal Rumble. Preview and predictions for NXT TakeOver San Antonio. My God. NXT TakeOver Philadelphia. And, of course, review for NXT TakeOver Philadelphia. All that coming right here on Ringside Wrestling. So make sure to go check everything else out, because for now, this has been Joel Perez, and I am out of here. Thank you very, very much for watching this video. I will see you next time, right here on Ringside Wrestling.